Brunch culture.
We want to talk about faith. We want to talk about politics. We want to talk about race. We want to talk about pop culture. Literally, everything is up for discussion, and that's what brunch culture is about. It's about a thing. Feel real good. Wave your hands in the air and lick 2 shots in the air.
Brunch culture. Brunch culture. Brunch culture. Brunch culture. She's Lisa V.
And he's Randall Keith.
And this is another episode of Brunch Culture, the weekly show where everything is up for discussion.
Yes, and Cardi B is number 1.
Hey, Cardi B. If
Bodak
you wanted
Yellow.
to, these exclusive, these expensive, Lord, I'm messing up the word. These expensive, these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes.
Yeah, I don't know the words.
So,
I just
you say, I can hum that word.
I
don't gotta
know that
know.
part. If you see me in the street and I don't
If I
speak,
see you, I don't speak. That mean out with you. I'm a boss. You the worker.
don't get comfortable.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Shout out to Cardi B though. I think I posted about this. I was really trying hard. One would say I wasn't trying hard, but I just kept hearing people talk about the song, like, oh, Bodak Yellow this and Bodak Yellow that, and I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, that's cool. And I never actually sat down and listened, so I just heard like snippets of it. So I was like, let me just listen to the song. I listened to the song one time, and I was like, wait, I like this. And then as I'm going throughout my day, I was hearing it. You can me if you wanted to. And I was like, all right, Cardi B.
Yeah, she's come a long way.
Yeah,
Reality TV does pay off for some people.
The craziest thing
Not
is
Jocelyn Hernandez though. We haven't heard that album
No,
yet.
so Jocelyn Hernandez actually got a song though with a verse. Like so the content of the verse is like not, I mean, it's like typical content, but she actually kind of ride the beat. It's a song with Rocco called I think it's Girls Gone Wild.
Oh, okay. I have to Google that.
I just heard it like this past weekend.
Look at it. It only took us 5 seasons.
Yeah. Just say she been in the studio this whole time.
They
Man,
always been in the studio on reality TV. I'm like, what are y'all producing? What's coming from this?
I was like, look, Love and Hip Hop. So that's K Michelle. They got Cardi B. Who else? Somebody else. Didn't somebody else do music and they like doing okay? Maybe not. It's just those two.
Yeah, I don't know anybody else.
I was just about to give him props.
Omarion.
Omarion. Yeah, Omarion.
He came out. He resurfaced.
He was resurfaced. Yeah. The
Bow Wow need to go on there. He might jumpstart his career again.
I don't know about Bow Wow.
He got growing up hip hop, but I don't think anybody watches that. So
I actually want to. I saw a clip from it. There was some clip. Apparently, some lady was complaining, was saying that she is Janet Jackson's love child that went away.
Okay.
Now this girl don't look nothing like Janet Jackson, but she said Janet Jackson called her and told her like she was her mom or something like that. I just saw a clip on Instagram and they were saying like, I think it's El DeBarge, who she used to be married to, but El DeBarge is like super high yellow, and then Janet Jackson is light skinned, and like this girl is supposed to be, she looks nothing like them. And not that, because I've seen dark skinned people have light skin. My little sister, she's light skinned, and my stepmom, my dad are dark skinned. So I don't know. It just seemed like real sketch. Like she looks nothing like El DeBarge's daughter, and I'm like, but apparently on the show they were supposed to be taking like a blood test to see if it was true.
That's interesting. I don't know about that.
I don't know. I feel like we're kind of reaching, guys. This doesn't really seem to be real, but if it works for them, that's fine. But it kind of reminded me of Kevin Hart's apology. Did you get that? Was that a good one? That was a good segue into life.
Yeah, that was a good segue.
I'm getting that.
I've been getting a lot of fails, so I'm glad you got a good one. When I saw this apology, I was scrolling on my timeline, just minding my own business, and Kevin Hart's apology came up. And when I saw it, I was like, interesting, because just a few weeks prior, we were here.
2 weeks. We were here talking about it. And what did we say? We said then We said then
That
there
he's not
must
gonna
be something going on. There has to be something going on for her to make that. You can't be truly happy and you out here like bringing up old stuff, or even not even bringing it up, responding to a random fan about old stuff. Like if it was really good, you'd be like, I mean, there's nothing to talk about. I'm moving on.
Yeah, she didn't know about that video when she fired off at Tory. She couldn't have.
Just make herself
Like,
look. I feel like she knew something was up, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe she didn't know about the video, but she knew what happened. It just doesn't make sense. Cause it's like, yo, if this is, you're posting about like y'all great relationship and how long it's been since y'all been together and all this other stuff, why not just continue to talk about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why respond to somebody else if you're truly happy in your situation? I don't really think that. Yeah, it was.
See, the thing about that I'm discovering about social media, long drawn out posts about significant others and friends usually mean the opposite. In a lot of cases.
Yeah, I can agree. Can absolutely
when
agree.
I see when it's more than a sentence and it's like a long drawn out dedication, I'm like, it's kind of sketch.
And I think it's really when it's like you see it over and over and over. Like if it's somebody's birthday, somebody's birthday, it's like this makes sense. But when it's just a random, oh, you're my everything. You know what term like this saying that I hate now? I love you to the moon and back. Because I see everybody say it, and it's like, it actually don't mean nothing no more. And neither one of us have ever been to the moon. So, like, just stop saying it. Like, just
I don't know who started that, but I know you hate the rib. I don't think it means that much anymore for Kevin Hart fans. They start calling it the McRib. That was funny.
Yo, did you see that post when the girl said the McRib? Talk about Kevin Hart left his actual rib for another rib and then turned around and found out it was actually the McRib. I was like, oh no. I
just, and I don't feel bad for him because of how I told you I felt like he had got kind of arrogant. Yeah. And I felt like that was we all had those moments where we get high on ourselves and we have to have humbling moments. I think this was one for him. I see him posting with a different tone. Because I don't see Nico posting at all. So I think, but I mean, she did say she does, she's not really concerned about it because he always comes home to her. So I just, whatever.
$1 million question though. Do you feel bad for Nico?
No.
No. Okay, so why not?
Because what I would have felt bad had 2 weeks ago not happened. Like 2 weeks before this, when she was firing off on Tory. Because it's like you was with somebody that was married, and then you made it seem like you didn't do anything wrong because he was already cheating with other people too, and y'all are soulmates. Yeah. And then you went back and did it again on social media, like you're not in the wrong. And so now fast forward, it comes out that he's doing the same thing to you that you did to her. Like, I believe that we reap what we sow. And so
come on, reap what you sow. It's interesting because I felt first I was like, I told my friend, I was like, dang, I feel bad for her though, because she obviously for like 2 seconds, I was like, I feel bad for her because obviously with the whole like Tory Hart Instagram thing, she really felt, just like, this is perfect. We have the perfect setup, the perfect situation. His career's burgeoning. I'm pregnant. We just have this thing and everything. We have great friendships. People love us together. Like, he's good with his children and his child's mom. Like, I felt like she thought like, I'm the sauce. Like, I'm the sauce that got it. Then it's like, dang, you kind of shot yourself in the foot when this thing just happened 2 weeks ago. And then we got this video that's coming out. Like, it's real. She probably feel bad. But then I'm thinking, you know, I'm telling my homegirl, so I'm thinking she gonna be like, yeah, like, I feel so bad, and, you know, Kevin Hart ain't nothing, like, yada, yada, yada. Well, she hit me with the Kevin Hart ain't nothing, but she was like, and she ain't nothing either. That's good for her. And I was like, whoa, wait. I thought we were about to have like a, you know, I understand we on the same team type thing. Like, I feel bad for her. I was like, this is a moment when I was like, nah, she was like, nah, you just shouldn't feel, you can't feel bad for her. And I was like, well, you know what? I do kind of think it was messed up, but I was thinking, then I was like, dang, now I feel bad for her. Cause most people, when they get cheated on, you know, like in the public space, the general public kind of support them. Now everybody looking at her like, well, what you think was going to happen? Like, there's this one picture of Kevin Hart and Aniko, I guess when they like first met, because they both look super young, and they're like sitting next to each other. And then it's the similar picture with Kevin Hart and the girl that he was like one of the girls that he slept with or whatever. And they put them like side by side, and it was like same situation, different time period or something like that. And it was like, dang. Like, and then somebody else was like, when the side chick got upgraded to the wife, only to realize that she got replaced as a side chick. It was like, dang.
Oh man, that's
like, dang. Like,
and I know he see this because he on social media. I mean, I wonder, is he gonna this? I wonder, will this cause him to stop?
Hopefully, though. Truthfully, though, and what I say is that, like, I mean, I don't know, like, I just think it's better, dude, just be single. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always my thing. I'm a huge advocate. Yo, just be single. Like, it's okay. You don't have to have this picture perfect marriage. You can just bring, you know, whatever date you feel like bringing to the date. To a red carpet if you want to be there. Honestly, if you want to do kind of like the family thing, be like, yo, we got a blended family or whatever. Cause they released like an app or something shortly after. It was like a family app. And so it's just kind of like, yo, as opposed to sending somebody through this, even if you think like, hey, I'm really trying and I'm good and nobody's perfect. I completely understand it, but it's kind of like you just were on the Breakfast Club within, was it the last year or so, talking about how, you know, you got a good one and you know that this is right and all this other stuff, and not knocking you, because, you know, as a man, you're supposed to say that, like, that's where you're supposed to be at. But you saying like, you know, I'm not on that, I'm moving forward, I'm about family, man, I'm about being committed to my wife, you know, I'm not going to cheat on her, I know I'm not going to cheat on her. But then you come back and say, well, I put myself in situations where things could happen and then they happen. But you just already said that you weren't this dude. And if to say that you kind of, and he mentioned, he was like, you know, because of where I'm at now, I don't know if you're recording stuff. I don't know what kind of cameras you have, yada, yada, yada. So you're smart enough to know that this could possibly happen. So to me, it means that it just seems like, bruh, this wasn't the first time because you got so comfortable. Like, if this were the first time that this was happening, like, I feel like you'll be extra paranoid. You'll probably be like, look, come over with like a hat on and some big old shades and a muzzle around your mouth. Show up at nighttime at like 2:00 in the morning, cut off all the lights. We gon', you know, smash and leave. Like some crap like that. Like you would be extra on top of it. You just said that you know that people are out trying to like extort you, and you get extorted, bro. Like, that just means like you probably got too comfortable. So, yo, on the basis of that, just come on, man. Just, you know, just let it go, and it's okay. And I think for me, that's always why so much of this is why I get frustrated when people start asking questions about when you gonna get married. You need to get married. You need to hurry up and get married. What you waiting on? What's taking so long? And it's like, yo, this is what y'all don't realize. People end up getting married because they don't want to look stupid, or they feel like, oh, I'm behind, or, you know, everybody else getting married, so let me do it to climb the social ladder. And then you get there and realize, I'm still not happy. I don't want to do this. I want to be with multiple people. I don't even want to be tied down like this. I don't want this situation. And so you have people making decisions, not all the time. I mean, some people do want to do it, but it's like you have people making these stupid decisions, hurting people's feelings, when all you had to do was say, yo, I don't want to be married. I don't want to be in a committed relationship. I just don't. Like, and let people think what they want to think, but at the end of the day, you know that you're not like devaluing this situation. Again, I believe people make mistakes. So if he made a mistake, that's cool. But it's like, bruh, you made the mistake apparently multiple times before. Then you lost one wife, and then you went and started picking on her about like how you ain't mad at what you doing. Then you came back around with this second wife talking about how you're not going to do it and you wouldn't do it with her because she's everything that you ever need and everything you ever want, as if your first wife was lacking, only to do the same thing to this wife. Like, bruh, just, you know,
is it a mistake or is it a pattern?
Exactly.
I think it's a pattern.
Yeah, and if it's a pattern, just be single. Ding, 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 ding. Got the winning answer. Solve the quiz. Like,
yeah. And I mean, it like Charlamagne said, it really does coincide with, he has his new stand-up series is called Irresponsible Tour. So I don't know how I don't think he can incorporate this like he did Tory. I would hope he doesn't, but I mean, depending on what kind of setup he has with Nico, maybe he can. Maybe they have an open situation. And
honestly, truthfully though, if that's the case, like, I mean, I think we've talked about that here. Like, I don't know, people ain't got to understand it, but it's kind of respected more of like, yo, if y'all, that's what y'all situation is, it is what it is, and it would kind of make sense because, you know, we talked about it. When you said like, we're talking about like apparently sources are saying that she's just kind of like, it is what it is. He still come home at night, so I don't care. And I'm like, yo, it might even be that situation. Maybe the public is making it more than what it is, and she just kind of like, you know, run me my money and we good. Which is, I mean, if that's your arrangement, it is what it is. Heck, I ain't married, so I can't tell you what to do. But I can say, don't be out here talking about how, you know, in one situation, oh, I'm not going to. Yeah, that was bad. I was young, and now I found everything I need. I found my rib, and you out here getting like chicken tender dinners. Like, come on, bro. Like,
they did kind of favor though.
People kept saying that. I didn't really look at the other girl too much, like, because I wasn't sure. I saw like 3 different pictures, and I was like, oh, these don't even look like the same girl. So,
yeah, she got Lisa Bloom. Is that the lady name that's always helping these people in Scandal?
I really wanted to roast her because I'm so tired of seeing her. Like, come on, lady. Like, and apparently, the girl with Usher is saying now that she has a sex tape, and Lisa Bloom is saying like she's gonna release that. Like, she's gonna take it to court for evidence or something. It's like
she got a tape.
Yeah, what? You didn't hear it? It was like,
no, I know she said she getting the gastric bypass surgery. Why do you laugh? I'm serious. Like, I didn't want to laugh.
I'm not laughing. I'm not. This is Lisa laughing. I'm so sorry. I'm not laughing. What did that have to do? Why would she tell people like nothing? Yo, get what you gotta get. But like, what? What?
I mean, I don't want to.
You going to hell. You will not pass go. You will not collect $200. You are laughing at this lady. I'm really trying not to laugh at her. Why did you say that? Why would you say that? I'm talking about Usher and Quantisha and herpes. Why would you mention
Quantisha
this?
Said surgery? That. I told it.
She talking about, no, I said she got a tape. Well, I know she gonna have the gastric bypass. Why would you say that? Why? The joke.
I thought of my timeline today.
Why are people talking about this? Like, Jesus, I can't take it. I'm like, yeah. And she got a sex tape, and they're talking about the girl with the herpes, and you're like, I don't know about that. She got a tape. I just know she's gonna have the gastric bypass surgery. What? Like, why? Why do you know this information?
It was on my timeline. I'm just an innocent bystander to scrolling.
Why is she telling people that she's gonna have this surgery? Like, what in the world? I can't take you.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh God. I can't even laugh. Trying to get over sinus issues. I'm about to choke over here because you throwing in daggone gastric bypass surgery. Like, what?
That's what the lady said. Like, it just sparked, you know how certain things spark something in your memory that you forgot? My memory was just sparked.
How did you get from Usher, herpes, Lisa Bloom, girl got a sex tape, gastric bypass? What? Like, it was such a Lord. Okay, so
she gonna come out looking different.
Look, I'm not laughing at people that have gastric bypass
No,
surgery.
I wasn't laughing at the gastric bypass. When I said it, I think it caught you off guard. Then it made me laugh.
Cause I'm like, wait, where did that come from? Like, why is she having gastric bypass surgery? Like,
She's having a hard time losing weight, so she wanted to do that. I'm not.
At this point, these people just want attention. Oh, girl, I went to her Instagram page when she first came out, and she said she loved her body. She picked up a few pounds, and she was okay with it. She still pulled. So
I was.
You trifling. You trifling.
Oh, God.
You are trifling. Just picking up this girl. We talking about a sex. We talking about a sex taping. You talking about her getting gastric bypass surgery.
Oh man.
Okay. Well, what else is going on? What else happened? I can't take you.
I think that's it.
Puerto Rico. Prayers for Puerto Rico.
Yeah, man, I can't. You can't go back. I was still laughing.
No, because we're not gonna laugh at these people. We're not laughing at these people or this girl. I don't know. This has to be some fake news that you got.
I'm gonna find it for you to link.
Why is she putting that on the internet though? Like,
but why did she put anything she did on the internet?
I mean, point taken.
Why do we even know her name?
Point taken.
She just gives us a lot of irrelevant information. This is the same person said she was exposed to a virus she doesn't have.
She does not have it. She's suing because she was exposed
at Motel 6
and Usher showed up. He showed up in the lobby. And why he showed, they were staying at the Motel 6. He showed up in the lobby only to walk outside and walk up them steps to walk to the outside door to get to your room. And you were there for your birthday. Don't tell nobody that, yo. Like, don't.
That still gets to you.
Just don't tell anybody. Like, I'd be like, we was at a hotel. What hotel? It don't matter. It happened. Like, you're telling somebody like, oh, and Usher came to the Motel 6 and nobody got a picture of Usher coming to the Motel 6. Like, nobody whatsoever. But he came into the lobby. For what reason? And I came down, so you walked down them outside steps and walked into the door of the lobby just to, like, why not just tell them to pull up round back and just walk up the middle stairs? Like, it just.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even going to say that.
We're not.
But Puerto Rico, our thoughts and prayers. Maria came and devastated Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, and some other island in the Caribbean. And they don't have power, water. It's like just devastation, apocalyptic.
Yeah.
There. That's what one of the headlines called it. And I just can't imagine being there. So our thoughts and prayers are with the people in the Caribbean that have really been hit hard by Maria. And, our thoughts and prayers are still with the Harvey victims and the victims of Irma, because I know they're still grappling with all that devastation.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I actually have a couple colleagues that are from Puerto Rico. Gosh, I said Puerto Rico. From Puerto Rico, and they were saying how they can't get in contact with their family members. And some people, if some sort of way, they've been able to find people on one side of the island, but if they lived on another side of the island, they really couldn't find them. I think it was like if you lived on like the east, then AT&T was like helping you get in contact with people. But if you were out west, and like there was no way for people, there has been no way for people to get in contact with. So honestly, just some people don't realize, but Puerto Rico is part of it's ours, and I mean we should care either way.
And they're U.S. citizens.
Exactly, we should care either way. But we want to talk about patriotism and what it means to be patriotic. We truthfully should be just as concerned and trying to find ways to send money and to help and to support and to pray and just to keep those people in your minds. I think we've talked about this before, but just in your day-to-day life, we can get so kind of bogged down with doing us and being us that we kind of forget how fortunate we are to even just be able to do us. You know what I'm saying? Especially like a storm can come and then we're fine for the most part, or we can get back to remnants of life, and that's not the case for everybody else. So as stated before, our hearts and our minds are going out with those people, for those people. And, you know what? Maybe we should try to give ourselves like some homework and maybe put out some like links and stuff that people can actually go to donate to like credible places.
Yeah.
Or places
definitely.
that are, like places that have been like verified. I'm quite sure that somebody has like done some work to figure out what we can do. So we can do that and try to figure that out.
Yes.
So we got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, y'all hit us up. Let us know what y'all think about our mimosas and orange juice, and we will be back for our main dish. All right, guys, we are back, and it is time for our main dish. And this week's main dish, we are just going to dive right into hashtag TakeAKnee and everything that's surrounding it, how we feel about it, what our thoughts are, and actually what's going on, and kind of clarify some things as well, because I feel like media and just, stupid people in general have really taken TakeAKnee out to be something completely different. And when people have conversations about it, the conversation is just really shift from what it was supposed to be about and what Colin Kaepernick's initial protest was about. And there's a lot of things that people seem to forget, and I feel like we're having conversations that are really stupid and unnecessary that we shouldn't be having. And so I just want to talk about that. We want to talk about that and just kind of dive into that all together. I definitely want to start off by saying one of the most frustrating things for me with this whole TakeAKnee thing, and it's actually a lot of frustrating things, so I'll try to not die in, but I just want to set like kind of the record straight first, right? So Colin Kaepernick, just over a year ago, decided that he was going to sit for the national anthem to protest to make light, to bring light, and to cause people to start a conversation, to start talking about police brutality when it comes to people of color and the injustices that people of color, particularly black people and black people, are facing. And so he did that protest. People asked questions about it, and media outlets started to question him and like, hey, what's going on? Why would you do this? And they're like, hey, this is disrespectful. I think it went on for maybe like 2 or 3 games. Maybe he set for like 2 games. No, it wasn't a lot. And then I'm going to say media, but people, started to say like, oh, this is sports. You shouldn't be protesting. And this is offensive. This is offensive to the men and women that fight for our country. And this is very disrespectful to them. Well, Colin Kaepernick, like most people with a brain, said, hey, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I don't know what you mean. I did not think about it. I didn't think that this was offensive to those people, but I still agree with my protest, and I'm still going to protest. Well, he actually had a conversation with a veteran that explained to him, hey, I did. You're right. I fought so that you could protest. However, it does seem to be it can be perceived as disrespectful to us, not to the flag, but to us that have lost our lives, that give our lives, and to our families that have people that have lost their lives. It seems offensive to them. There has to be another way. Out of that conversation, he decided to take a knee. I say that to say this conversation about Colin Kaepernick or people that take a knee, disrespecting the flag, disrespecting the particularly the men and women that serve in the armed forces, it becoming disrespectful. If you stop for 2 seconds and really knew what you were talking about, you will know that this taking a knee came out of actually sitting, and this was something that Colin Kaepernick decided to do after he spoke. He didn't have to do it. He does not have to do it, right? But he said, hey, I want this group of people to know that I appreciate your sacrifice. I don't want to disrespect you. Let me take the time to sit down and talk to you about this. And so now we have TakeAKnee, right? So I just wanted to get that out of the way and to let that be known, because I feel like people, in having conversations about taking a knee, there's one thing that I feel like we should not be talking about, and that is disrespecting men and women of the armed forces. That's disrespecting the flag. Like, if you know where this started from and how it got there, number one, I don't believe that either of them was disrespectful in general, because he made a choice to do this to start conversation, to get to shed light on something so that people can start to talk about it, so that people can say, wait, hold on. If I'm so angry about this, why would he choose to do this? And it's that question, why, that he wanted people to ask the question why, so that he can have the conversation, so that we can start addressing this thing on a public space. People just being people refuse to really go to that point and continue to try to push an issue to make it something that it wasn't. What's frustrating is in media, in mainstream media, particularly even, a CNN, like, as opposed to them acknowledging the point that, yo, this actually taking a knee is an evolution. And maybe they have, but I haven't heard it. This is an evolution of what it was. So he made an adjustment to respect those people, and you still make the larger story and question is, well, is it disrespectful to take a knee? Bruh, he got here from talking to a service member. You know what I'm saying? And I think he talked to multiple people. So he did more than he even needed to in order to try to be respectful and still get the job done. And so that's one of the things I just want to lay the foundation of that and get that out of the way, because I feel like in order to have a balanced conversation about this thing, you have to be able to point out how flawed talking about is taking a knee disrespectful, or not even saying if it is, but saying that it is, without recognizing that, yo, this came out a result of something else, because he was making an attempt to not be disrespectful, but still serve his purpose. So, all right.
Yeah, and I think that's important to know, because when you're listening to commentators on like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, you're getting this kind of conversation, like you said, that kind of asks the question, and it's kind of like, if you knew from the beginning, if you listened to what Colin Kaepernick was saying. I think that's where the disconnect is.
Right.
They're not listening to what Colin Kaepernick was saying, why he was doing it, and everything is about, oh, you're protesting the flag, or you're doing this just because President Trump said what he said. And it's like, no, there was a purpose behind this. There were people still doing this even this year. I mean, even with the protest against the NFL that was started by people, the Stand With Cap hashtag that people were using as well. So, like, all things considered, like, listen. And I think, when President Trump made the comment and called the players SOBs, and calling Colin Kaepernick and anybody who kneeled SOBs and they needed to be fired, that was so grossly disrespectful and immature.
Right.
And it's like, the crazy thing is, you called the people in Charlottesville very fine people, but you somehow have the words to call NFL players who do a lot for charity, first of all, many of them, who do a lot in their communities, many of them, who are not bothering you at all, who haven't done anything to you to call them SOBs. And did you see Colin Kaepernick's mom said, well, I'm a very proud B?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was a real tweet from her, but I thought it was it was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was. And it's just so infuriating for him to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Such disrespect.
Right.
And you know, when he called Steph Curry out as well, for not wanting to come, and like, it's too, because he said he wasn't coming anyway, but
it really just made him feel better to say, you know what, invitation revoked, sir. It was already revoked because he said, I'm not coming, I'm not interested in coming. Like, you didn't even have to do that, but that helped your ego, though. That's what it was.
Yeah, I just think it's like unbelievable. Like, it's beyond comprehension. And the crazy thing, I'm trying to find the tweet, but he tweeted back in 2013. This was his tweet. This was February 26, 2011. Burning a flag is a peaceful and respectful way for citizens of this great country to voice their displeasure. Very powerful. Now, wait.
Right.
Now, you know what I'm saying? It's like, who are you? Like,
yeah.
Like, who are you? Like, you say this, and then every day is something different with you. Like, you are there. If the flag represents the nation that gives us that gives us rights,
right.
The right to protest and freedom of speech, all of that stuff. So, like,
I think it truly shows, though, that he is playing to a certain group of people. I think it truly shows that this is somebody that is willing to do and say any and everything to play to a base, to be quote unquote loyal to the base, and to make sure that those people that supported him are going to continue to put him on this platform. I also think that, honestly, truthfully, this guy just really likes the media attention, right?
Mm-hmm. You think he's a media whore?
Yeah, when he talks about the NFL, when he talks about even mainstream media, right? He talks about how much coverage he's getting. He talks about how they enjoy talking about him because he brings them ratings. It's like somebody that really wanted to win the popularity contest that just never stopped. And it's like, yo, at this point, like, okay, who cares? Like, just stop. But I think it shows you what he wants to do. And it unfortunately shows us how this idea of being popular or being known, or, you know, just people, I guess it's a mainstream public popularity contest, how that gives you so much, that gives a lot of people a lot of influence, and
it can be toxic.
Exactly. And some people will continue to follow that thing, or this person, just based off of the fact that they're very controversial and so many people know them. And it's like, oh, well, if I can just get into space and just get people talking, then that's just what it is. That in and of itself, I don't want to make, you know, the entire show about him, but it is, of course, that in itself is really frustrating, because you started to see, I was truthfully disappointed. I'll say this and move on, but I was really disappointed when I saw the video, and I didn't see the video of the whole SOB thing until Sunday. It was like late Sunday, and I watched the video and I was just like, wait, hold on. Time out. This is the president? Like, what? Huh? So we start talking about, you know, and as somebody that's into politics, that enjoys, you know, I think that this is a vehicle and a tool that, if used right, can be very beneficial and helpful to a lot of people. I feel like, you know, in many different cases, we've seen people at this stage in our life use political power, if you will, quote unquote, or political influence to do a lot of great things that help a lot of people, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, I look at politics and the political realm as that, and I respect it and I admire it. And I that's why I say things like, yo, I am going to call him President Trump. I'm not saying like, yo, I'm walking around like, oh my gosh, I love President Trump. No, but out of respect of, here is how it works. Here is what it is. I am going to be respectful of that, because if there was a candidate that I was really supporting was there, I would want people to do the same thing. When there was a candidate that was there, no matter how much that candidate pissed you off or pissed me off or pissed the general public off, at the end of the day, this is what we do. We respect this office. We hold a degree of respect for the office, and that office holds a degree and a level of respect for us. And I think that video just showed that this person is not respecting that. And something that I live by, I say this a lot, but I come from the Disney generation, right? Disney taught us that the good guy always wins. That was we grew up watching movies, and I say the Disney generation in the sense that all of our movies, if you think about any Disney classic, the mainstream ones, right? The good guy always won. Television shows, the good guy always wins. So for me, it's kind of like, even if you're not the best person, there's a part of you that at least tries to be good, if you will, or fair, or respect certain things, because it's kind of like, well, I can't do that because that's disrespectful. To watch somebody in that position that is the president of the entire United States, that's everybody in the United States, like whether you agree or disagree with somebody, you are here to serve and to represent and to work for everyone. To say like, yo, these SOBs, and it's like, why are we even talking about this, right? Like, why is this something that you're commenting on? Like, you should reserve your comment. Like, hey, I think that, even if he was just like, hey, I think that I disagree with them. I think that, you know, they should stand up for him. I feel like it's respecting our country, our country. All right, let's move on to something else that is more with what my line of work is, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't play football. Like, I watch it, cool, but my voice and my weight, I shouldn't be using this platform in this position, or I should understand that this platform, this position is going to make what I say carry a lot more weight. So that's not for everybody. I'll talk about that with my homeboys. I'll call Mike Pence. We'll go have drinks, you know, and we might talk about it and dive into it and all that other stuff. But for the general public, the general space, we need to be concerned on things that really matter. We need to be talking about North Korea. We need to be talking about, you know, what are we going to do so that we're not just passing another temporary budget, so that we can get some consensus on a budget that is going to help further the agenda that's going to be the best for the people. Like, we got so much stuff to talk about, as opposed to sitting up here talking about like, these people are SOBs because they don't stand, and just literally doing it to rile the crowd up. Like,
because he knew he was in Alabama.
Exactly. And it's like,
he knew his context.
It's like, I'm saying this to get a rise, and then to come around. There was one part, I forget what he says, but he's like, and he says it again, like, yeah, let me make you all excited. And it was just kind of like, why are you doing this, bro? Like, yo, do you not? I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I say we in terms of like, I feel like President Obama carried a certain decorum. And even when I disagreed with him on statements, and I felt like I wanted him to say more, or I wanted him to come out and be very clear and frank about, you know, racial injustice and how messed up it was, the death of all of these black people and these non-convictions and these verdicts. And I wanted him to be very direct and say how jacked up and effed up it was. At the end of the day, I'm like, you know, I can disagree, but I have to respect the fact that he's saying, I'm the president of these entire United States. And so I honestly have to be mindful of how uncomfortable I'm going to make one group, just as much as I have to be mindful of how uncomfortable I'm going to make another group. Like, I gotta toe the line to be as fair as possible, although fair may not be what I need to say, but that is me respecting the office. And I'm watching somebody that's just kind of like, whatever, I can say what I want to say. It is what it is. Forget it. What you gonna do? And then if I can't say it, then I'm just going to tweet about it to make you talk about it. And that just is what it is.
Yeah. And even, you know, him like we have a crisis. Puerto Rico is a part of us going through all of this, and you're not saying anything. And then when you do address them, you talk about the amount of debt they have and the problems in their infrastructure before you get to the fact that they need help. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
And it's like, even when he addresses the issues of the day, he addresses them wrong. I mean, North Korea's going on. He's calling the man Little Rocket Man, knowing that he's inciting, more problems. Like, what are you doing? It's like, we don't want him to talk at all. This is the president we want to remain silent.
Completely. Like, just be
because
mute.
He doesn't know what to say.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that say? It's like, it's better for a fool to be quiet than to talk and remove all doubt, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know the quote, but I just think, just shut up. Like, it really is frustrating.
He doesn't address anything with any kind of tact.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when he goes off script.
Yeah, or just sound logic. Like, a logic that one can truly follow, in respect to what you're supposed to be doing in your position. I think that's the most frustrating thing. But I don't want to spend all of this segment just talking about him. So back to taking a knee, right?
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. Jerry out there. They got Jerry out here? Like, this is Texas. And then I realized I liked it. And then when I went back, I realized they took a knee before the anthem. And I'm like, well, what was the purpose of that?
And the purpose, the purpose is exactly what I'm saying. People making this thing about take a knee something that it's not about. And it's so infuriating to me because a lot of these teams, and a lot of these people that have taken the knee this past week, it was not about, they weren't doing it to shed light on the initial reason for this, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of this was about showing unity and solidarity in the NFL and amongst the team.
Mm-hmm. And Shannon Sharp said it was because rich people don't like to be on, I think it was Fox Sports, rich people don't like to be told what to do. And he's telling them what to do. And they like, we got as much money as you. You're not going to control us.
Yeah. True.
Because most of them gave money to him.
Yeah.
I think Shad Khan
did. Shad Khan gave like over $1 million.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if Jerry did. He might have. He seems like a type person that would give money.
But to me, it's frustrating though, because I'm not a journalist, right? We're not journalists, right? We're not journalists by trade, but we're podcasters. And so even ourselves, we have a number of planning conversations, right? In which is like, hey, find an article on this. Let's decipher what somebody's opinion, what's our opinion, and what actually are facts that happen, right? Let's talk about our opinion, our perspective from a certain position, but let's really try to, you and I have debated on the show, off the show, about different things that maybe we just disagree on, but it's kind of like we try to be clear about what is actually factual and what happened. What's annoying to me is like, and we're not journalists. I say that to say that we're not journalists, right? We don't have a degree in journalism. We did not study in that way. Our degrees, we're educated. We have degrees. We went to college. We know, but our degrees are in other things. What frustrates me though is like, you have actual journalists that will not bring this conversation back to what it needs to be about. And so you start the story with Colin Kaepernick took a knee out of protest, but you don't say what this protest was about. And then you don't acknowledge the fact that today taking a knee it does not have the same meaning. And you have been a part of the evolution of that meaning, and you're basically taking a knee now to pit the NFL against Donald Trump, and it has nothing to do with neither of them, right? This initial cause has nothing to do with neither of them. And so if we're going to talk about, why it's happening, let's talk about the evolution and let's shed light on what's truly happened, and let's make sure that continues on in the narrative. And it's frustrating because I place the blame on everyone. Honestly, I place the blame on people that bought into this idea that I have to continue to argue with you about this not being about the flag, or this not being about disrespecting the servicemen and women. So that's why I wanted to open the episode by saying, like, yo, look, this is what happened. So when you have that conversation, get past all of this bull by letting them know that this happened. Here is what happened as a result. If you disagree with it, you cannot say that there was no sort of change or effort to try to respect those people. If at the end of the day you feel like it's disrespectful, okay, stop it. Now let's move on and talk about why this actually happened, right? And let's talk about the root cause of this. And I feel like we don't have that. And so it's when I saw Dallas take a knee, I was annoyed. I was really annoyed. Honestly, even when I saw Jacksonville take a knee, I was rolled over in my bed and I went to like Yahoo. I'm like mistakenly clicked on Yahoo. Cause I didn't click on Yahoo. I think I like did a search and one of the things was for Yahoo and it took me to like the Yahoo homepage. They were actually broadcasting, like from their homepage, they were broadcasting the game. And so I saw, Jacksonville players taking a knee and I saw like a row of them and I was like, oh, that's cool. As soon as I saw Shad Khan, I got annoyed because I was like, this is not about police brutality. This is about showing that our team supports each other. Our team is in unison. It's like, that is not what this is about, right? And I'm okay with you showing solidarity. I'm okay with you guys saying we're brothers and we stick together. That's great. That's fine. But in sticking together, the conversation needs to be, I'm sticking by my brother because although I'm not a black man, or I'm sticking by my brother because I am a black man and I don't know what it is to do. But if my brother says that he needs help, his community needs help, his people need help, then I am kneeling to show that I'm unified with my brother. And if that's a problem for him, then it's a problem for me. That's true unity. It's not about, well, I'm sitting down here because if they want to disrespect my brother, then I'm going to kneel too so they can disrespect me. Well, let's talk about why they're disrespecting him, right? Let's talk about where this came from. This is not just about doing it for sport or for like, you know, we're brothers, we're happy and we're singing and we're mixed. Like, that's not, it's really stupid. And it was extremely annoying to me. And then, you know, going a step further and seeing Ray Lewis down there on both knees. And it's just like, yo, get your ass up. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you have a problem and you sitting here like a church.
He was praying.
Yeah. But and I believe him. He looked like a church mother, like sitting down there, like humped over.
He said he was praying because it was so much chaos. I saw his interview, so much chaos. And, you know, I said, what are we doing? And I said, I'm going to get between these brothers and pray. And I'm like,
get up. Like
you see me, I had both knees on the ground. I didn't have one.
You look foolish. Praying. You look stupid. Somebody should have kicked you over, bro. Like, it's just, and again, seeing that, it became frustrating because it's like, yo, you've already, and this is why people are like, oh, well, you know, now he got down there, he was on both knees. And I'm like, no, his protest was not about, I guarantee you, like, this was not about standing in the gap for Colin Kaepernick because Colin Kaepernick is not playing in the NFL right now. Is unsigned. And he's not able to do this. This is what it should be about, right? But this is not what it's about for all of you guys. And as opposed to making it very clear that, hey, I'm not doing this for Colin Kaepernick, I'm doing it for something else. You are now trying to play both sides, right? You're trying to like quiet the people that are upset that Colin Kaepernick is not playing, and so you're trying to like goop them into thinking that you're gonna kneel in his place. Then you're also trying to goop the opposition of those people and say that, no, I wasn't kneeling for that anyway. I was just getting down and praying for unity of my team. And they're like, oh my God, you know what? That's so right, because we're so divided and this is so divisive. Reading, I read something, I just like briefly read a couple things a couple days ago that were basically saying that like players that kneeled are losing endorsements. All seem, they all seem like smaller companies, but they're still losing endorsements. And it's like, these are the things that we need to be talking about, right? These are the things in which we say that we love our country and we're so patriotic and we believe and we stand in our rights and our values of our country and everybody having their right. but we don't speak out about these companies that are taking their money away and saying that, you know, there are certain times. One of the things that I said, they tried to write it like very, you know, well, like respectful. And they were like, you know, there's certain times, no matter what happens in a political space, there's certain times in our country where we should all stand together, united. And during the honoring of our flags is one of those times. So while we completely support this player's ability to you know, advocate for what they want to advocate for, we're no longer going to be working with them because we believe that it's better to be unified in that moment than anything else. And it's like, the mere fact that you can say this shows that you don't care. If we are standing in line together, right? Let's say we're going to battle and you and I are standing arm in arm, and we've always stood arm in arm. And for some reason you are no longer standing. My concern is not to be, hey, let me drop you and find somebody else. My concern needs to be, hey, what's going on? Why are you doing this? What's wrong? What do you need? How can I help you? Because you usually stand with me. You're my partner. You are supposed to, if you're not showing up, then it's my job to not say, oh, well, you didn't stand up next to me as we were preparing for battle. You walked off. It's like, no. You didn't show up. There's something wrong. Let's use brunch culture, right? We record a podcast. If I don't show up or you don't hear from me, you reach out to me. You're like, hey, are you okay? What's going on? I haven't talked to you in a while. I haven't heard from you. We haven't recorded. We were supposed to record. You didn't come through. It's not like, oh, you didn't record, so you're fired. Get out of here. It's like, no, this is called partnership. This is called, you know, brotherhood. This is called unity. When you can't stand or you don't stand, I help you figure out why, and we together solve the problem. And that is unity in itself. Simply saying that I'm not supporting somebody because they didn't stand is a bunch of bull. And people, it's like trying to have that conversation with people and people not wanting to acknowledge that. And then in response, we in turn go down this rabbit hole of arguing with them about how it's not that they're just gooping us, yo. Like they're just getting the upper hand.
And I think it goes to a larger problem in our society where people don't know how to give in the conversation without feeling like they lost. So It's kind of like, I have to stand my ground. I can't meet you in the middle or listen to what you're saying because that means I'm wrong. And it's like, no, it just means that you the way you thought needs to be tweaked. And maybe there's some remnants of truth in what you thought, but that doesn't mean the way another person's thought can't sharpen your thinking to become better.
Right.
And you could shift. And I think just a lot of people, especially CNN commentators, because I was listening to Paris talk about this, and I was like, oh
gosh, why is he still on television?
And his inability to give and saying, this is wrong, they're wrong for standing up, they need to respect the flag. And it's just like, Mark Lamont Hill was like, Paris, it sounded like he just wanted to say, but you're black. Like,
and he probably did. No, because he truthfully probably did. Not to take over, but that's another thing that I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine that we were talking about. And I was like, look, check this, right? You have to understand how for black people, and I say this fully being proud to be an American, and I hate the fact that I have to say that, like preface my statement with saying that, because it's like, oh, this is frustrating. But yes, I'm American. Honestly, when I leave the country, I'm always like, I'm ready to go home. Like, I want to go home. Like, after, it's great. It's fun to visit. Love it. Wonderful. But at the end of the day, even just going to Canada, I was like, I want to go get some real sausage and go home. Like, I need all of the pork and the fat and whatever's going to kill me because it tastes better and it feels better. I want to go home. Like, and so it frustrates me that I have to say that. But anyway, in saying that, I'm always like, you have to understand how, even if at some point in time in your life as a black person, patriotism is complicated, right? Because you think about, hey, if I were in another time, this would be rough, even more rough than what it is now, right? You think about, I still have to face systematic racism, and many times in places I have to face overt racism. And it's not always, you know, very like, you're less than me, get out in the field and work type thing. Like that's extreme. It's stuff like, I was in the National Museum of African American History and Culture this past weekend, and this girl says that like her friend was she was working and her coworker came in and she wore like her natural hair, and it was like a big thing because they all didn't. And so she was like, one of her directors came by and said, "What's up, sister?" And it was like,
wow.
Why? Like, so it's that type of stuff that's like, no, I don't see you coming out with like 2 pigtails and be like, "Hey, Becky," like that's not your name. Like I would not say that to you. Like, so why do we have to experience this? But I was telling my coworker, I was like, yo, you have to understand that with the most respect as possible, it is very complicated to be a person of color, particularly a black person, because even amongst POCs, people of color, we still are looked at with all of these negative stereotypes. We're prejudged for a lot of things that many of us don't even fit, and it's just wrong and it's frustrating. So you have to understand that, yo, it is very tough. In the same way that we start talking about all of these horrible historical figures and how, or even current figures, we talk about how horrible and mean and cruel Putin is to his people because he actually slaughtered these people. And it's like, well, if you actually start studying history, you know that we've had former presidents that have supported like drugs being put into a community. They've placed out policies that have actually crippled our community, and they knew that was it. Like, there are papers and documents that say that they had conversations going out to get this group of people. So guys, like, that's complicated. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be able to acknowledge the fact that you can struggle with that and still not be anti-American and still not, and you have to understand that it is just, I explain to people all the time, it is truthfully just like somebody that may have grown up with a parent that maybe was an alcoholic, right? And so as a result of that person, their parent abused them or just wasn't the best parent. When you grow up, you're not like, oh my gosh, I hate you all the time. For the most part, it's like, yo, what you did was really messed up. I don't really, like, I'm struggling through a lot of stuff of that. But now seeing you get better, or knowing that I'm a part of the process of your healing, it makes me feel better. It makes me understand you a little bit more. It makes me say like, hey, I can forgive this past, but it's a struggle because I actually went through that, or my mom went through that or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that same type thing. And people just refuse to accept the fact that, yo, what this flag means to you is not the same thing of what it means to me. And it is just based off of history. None of us can change that. But what you can do is hear me out when I say, yo, this is hard at times. Like, it's really hard. If we start playing the game of like, I was at trivia night last week, and there was a lot of stuff that was like trivia, and they were asking questions about stuff. And I was like, so what's interesting, guys, is like, my table wouldn't be in this space. The guy was like, imagine journeying back to 1903. Imagine going back to 1798. I can't. I don't want to. Like, it's not the same, guys. So like, just really understand that and understand that, like, yo, there's complications in it. Just like people are complicated. We're not all one way all the time. There's multiple things that we're dealing with, especially as a black person. Like, you're trying to reconcile and juggle multiple feelings and emotions at the same time.
Yeah, and it's frustrating to hear our president and others say this is not about race. This has nothing to do with race. And it's like, yes, it does. Like,
everything has to do with race because you created it.
The fire chief in Pennsylvania who said, called Mike Tomlin a no good N-word because Pittsburgh didn't come out. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's just like, it's about race.
Absolutely, about
it's
race.
Very much about race. And it's so frustrating because, you know, in my line of work, I deal with a lot of white evangelicals. And so on my timeline, I got kind of frustrated a bit. So I made a post and I said, it's amazing to see so many Protestants. And I put in Protestant, I put the protest
Yeah, I saw that.
Against peaceful protests. And that made some people very angry. I just unsubscribed. I stopped reading the comments on my own post because it was way too much.
Right.
And it's crazy. The people that were attacking were black people. And I'm like, guys, I'm just being honest about history here. Like,
that's it.
15, 17.
Take a look. It's in a book. The Reading Rainbow.
On the what are we talking about? That's Protestant protest against Catholic Church. Like, I mean, like, I just didn't understand how many people missed that. Like,
it's in a book. The whole Reading Rainbow. He taught you a long time ago that it was great to read.
If you're not a Catholic, you're a Protestant. If you're a Christian, how did you think that, like, came about? Like, I don't know.
It's ignorance, right? It's just, but what becomes frustrating is that, and it's not, and that's honestly why. So I started thinking and talking to friends and being like, you know what? Ray Lewis also proves to us that we can't just be like white people, because look at him. Look at him.
I think it's those who don't understand history and don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. And people just make snapshots for a moment and say, well, this is best, without considering the historical account
of what happened. And it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to not know. So one thing that was beautiful to me, we were at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It's kind of funny because I try to make it a point to say the whole name, although the name is really long. So we were there. I was there with a few of my friends, and I forgot what it was. A Sojourner Truth quote that the lady, this lady in line, we were in the cafe. This lady in line said the quote, and she was asking who said it. Well, to me, what was so beautiful was, like, typically, and I myself would do this, if I can't remember a historical fact, I'll go and look it up before I ask somebody, because it's like, I don't want to look stupid, right? But she didn't. She was an older lady. She did it and just, like, asked it. She asked it, and she asked it out loud. There's, like, multiple people in line, and she just kind of asked it out loud for anybody to respond. But she said that it was, like, Harriet Tubman that said it. And it was like, that was definitely not Harriet Tubman. Like, obviously it was not Harriet Tubman. But she asked the question with so much boldness, and it was inspiring. And I was like, you know what? Truthfully, it's okay if we don't know history. In the sense that, hey, I'm saying, like, I don't know, and so I'm asking a question to get information. I say that to say, like, it's so, because I feel like a lot of people have talking points and discuss things without actually having considered what happened historically. You don't really know the full story. So it's okay to get to a point to say, oh, wow, thanks for sharing it with me. I did not know that. That's okay. Perfectly fine. Absolutely nothing wrong with just being able to admit, I didn't know that. Thanks for putting me on game. I appreciate it. I'm going to move forward and consider this, as I develop an argument, or let me sit on that and see if that changes where I'm at. I feel like we have people that refuse to do that, and because it's like, oh, I know, I'm off up on this. One of my homeboys, where I celebrated his birthday a few weeks ago, and we went to Philly, and we were having this long, deep discussion, and he started dropping knowledge from this research book that he had read, and he did a part of his thesis on that, and I was like, yo, I never knew that. That's good. I still in this moment believe what I believe, but let's talk about it some more to see if that changes how I feel. But thank you for telling me. And as opposed to just being like, I know that, but I don't know. I never read that in any book that I read, like any documentary that I've seen. I never heard of that. So thanks for putting me on game. And so you have the upper hand in this moment, and that's okay. I'm still myself. I'm still intelligent. I don't know all history. I don't even remember specific dates. I have friends that can be like, oh, on this date, this happened. On that date, that happened. I'm like, yo, rock for you. I'm good for, a number of really important years off the cuff. I'm familiar with this stuff. I know how to utilize it. But for me, going to the museum, the reason I love going to the museum so much is I always feel like, yes, I'm aware of the general story, or yes, I'm aware of specifics. I'm aware of a lot of things, but there's something that I read and I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know this specific thing. Or I never thought about it in this way. And even if I have, it's like, oh, this is cool. I'm fine with that. When there are other people that are just kind of like, oh, I know this. I already know this stuff. I already know this stuff. And it's like, but do you really? Because I don't know that there's so much history, right? Unless you're a historian, do you really know all of this stuff? Or you just kind of heard it and you're aware of it? Because a lot of the things, particularly in that museum, acknowledge specifics about people, right? And so it's like, oh, I never heard about this person before. I didn't know who this person was. Or like, oh, I heard of them before, but I didn't know they did that. Well, that was cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think it's just important for people to acknowledge in these conversations, like, you're going to get to a place where you don't know stuff, and that's okay. Like, it's perfectly fine with that. And just ultimately, I know we've been talking about it for a while, but just, I don't know, just when we have these conversations about take a knee, know what you're talking about, know what you're arguing about, and make it a point specifically to infuse where this all comes from and what the real conversation is about, right? Because the real conversation isn't about the NFL versus Donald Trump. The real conversation is not about the NFL not being a tight-knit fraternal brotherhood that supports each other. Obviously, it's not. The mere fact that you had one person kneeling, sitting and then kneeling, and then you had other people coming out with these statements, Ray Lewis saying that they need to keep protesting out of sports or keep this out of, like, that's not brotherhood.
Yeah. Did you see the press secretary, Sarah, say that if this was quote unquote about police brutality, shouldn't the players be protesting the police on the field that's protecting them? I was like, oh, girl. Did you just say that out your mouth?
Like,
and our beloved mayor said it was stupid. Did you hear that? He said the protest was stupid.
And did he say it was stupid or the people were stupid? Maybe he said it was stupid.
It was stupid.
Okay.
To take a knee.
Yeah, which is, again, this is a sign of you not showing unity, right? This is a sign of you dismissing your fellow American. So when we have these conversations, that's what we need to be talking about. We need to be talking about how you're not patriotic, how you don't support your fellow American, your brother and sister under the flag, united before God. Like, you're not listening to why they are kneeling, why they are down. You're not hearing them. You're not saying, hey, I don't get it, but I see that you're not here and you should be here because this is what we do. This is an American tradition that you should honor. Why aren't you doing it? Oh, you're doing it to shed light on police brutality? Well, I've never been brutalized by the police. None of my family has. So I don't think that this is a thing. But if you hear all of these people really ridiculing you and they continue to ridicule you and you continue to sit there, because I care about you, I gotta say, wait, hold on, wait, time out. There's somebody sick in our family. Like, don't I gotta show up for them? Like, don't I gotta ask them why? Don't I gotta help them? Don't I have to say, maybe I just agree to disagree? So you're not gonna slam them because they're doing it because I disagree. But at the end of the day, you are protected under our country. So let me shut up and let you do your thing. Even if I disagree, like, it's just, you're being un-American by telling me that I'm not American. Like, stop it.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it will drive you insane. Like, you really have to just, at a certain point, stop listening, or you want to go punch the TV and throw the TV.
Yeah, truthfully, I think that is I support everybody unplugging. Look, I have two options.
For your mental health.
Exactly. Just start cursing folk out or just unplug. That's and on behalf, this is not a brunch culture official. This is what Randall said. So, like, curse them out to make you feel better, or just unplug. I choose the latter. Like I'm just gonna unplug because I got stuff to lose and I can't be out here cussing people out. However,
I was retweeting like crazy yesterday, and I was like, you know what? What is this doing? I just need to. I didn't even post. I don't think I even retweeted anything about it today or tweet anything because I was like, I'm tiring myself out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, I can't deal with these. I cannot deal with these people because they don't listen.
Yeah. No intent to listen. Don't even care.
It's exhausting. And our president will do anything to divert from the issue. I think anytime anybody brings up police brutality or systemic injustice, he just is not here for it at all.
Well, look at but I got ratings. They like to talk about me with my ratings. All right.
So y'all let us know what y'all think about the hashtag TakeAKnee, hashtag ChatBC on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We would love to interact with you, and we'll be back with our toast or roast. And we're back with our toast or roast. Today, I want to toast Lecrae for his new album, All Things Work Together, ATWT. And I really have gotten off of Christian hip hop, even though he says he's not a Christian hip hop artist. He's a hip hop artist that is a Christian, whatever. So I was like kind of skeptical about it, but I like Blessings. Blessings kind of grew on me. At first I hated it. And then it kind of like, the more it was on the radio, I was like, oh, well, it's okay. And I started liking it. But then Kiara Sheard is one of my favorite artists. So I thought she was going to be I saw the track list. I saw she was going to be on. So I was like, let me listen. And then I listened, and then I heard Facts, which one of my homegirls is actually featured on Facts. She's talking in the beginning and the middle. And nice. So I was like, oh, that's dope. So the whole album was good. There's an album on the song on there that's a trigger for us women. That could be a 443 track because he's talking about his ex-girlfriend and the regrets he has. But of course he's married now with a family. So I was just like,
let that man apologize. Y'all be trying to ruin people. Just let this man apologize and get his blessing. It
could be a trigger for some. So whatever. It is what it is. So I tweeted, I wonder how many women were triggered by Wish You the Best by Lecrae. It reminded me of Candace's 443. And I put a little virtual hug gift with it because I want to send love to my sisters out there who were triggered by that song. But yeah, great body of work. Shout out to Lecrae. Toast to you. I keep playing the album. I love it.
Nice. Well, I wish I had like something that's uplifting and positive. But I'll just be really fast. I'm going to roast Apple and iOS 11. It pains me to do this because I support Apple. But I got to be fair and, call a thing, right? And so, yeah, iOS 11 is really annoying me. There is an update, though, so I'm going to say this, and there's iOS 11.0.1 that has been released. I think it was released last night. So I haven't installed it on my phone, but since updating to iOS 11, my phone has intermittently started to do the little blackout screen and spinning wheel, which I'm not exactly sure why, because I have enough space and everything was working properly. The other things that really frustrate me is when I use the Wi-Fi shortcut on Control Center to cut off Wi-Fi. It actually only disconnects me from the network. It does not cut off the Wi-Fi radio, which is extremely annoying because when I'm out on my day-to-day, I don't want to have to go all the way into the settings app to turn off Wi-Fi, because when I hit that button, typically what I want to do is turn the Wi-Fi off, not disconnect the network, because my phone will continue to try to find another network. I want it to be off. The same thing with cell service. Before we come to record, I always turn off my cell service. I want to actually be able to click this shortcut button and it turn it completely off. Meaning There's no bars. I'm not getting any bars. There's no cell service. I'm not telling you to disconnect me from AT&T, but still make my phone try to find Verizon or Sprint or T-Mobile. No, I'm turning it off. It's supposed to be off. So that's annoying. A lot of people probably don't notice it or haven't noticed it. But as somebody that, I utilize my phone a lot, and at work, I don't have Wi-Fi access. So it makes no sense for me to disconnect from my home Wi-Fi to have my phone sit at my desk all day searching for a Wi-Fi network. Like, it's not going to find it. I know that. That's why I turned it off. So anyway, I'm roasting iOS 11 and I'm roasting Apple because I'm hoping that this update is going to change it. I'm not very confident that it will, only because Apple released a statement saying, our phones work best when people use Wi-Fi. And it's like, oh, great. Congratulations. We know that. However, if I'm trying to turn it off or I'm disconnecting from a network when I'm leaving one place, it's not because I'm going to go out and my phone is just going to automatically connect to Wi-Fi again. Like, there's probably no Wi-Fi in this place. That's why I'm turning it off altogether. Like, otherwise I would just switch the network. Anyway, first world problems, I know, but I'm roasting Apple because that's some bull.
Because I don't even know all the technical stuff that goes on with my phone. So
yeah, and it's I'm like geek overload when it comes to phones, particularly when it comes to Apple phones. So like I'm playing with this thing and trying to figure stuff out, and I'm just like, why is this doing this? Why is this happening? If it's not broke, don't fix it. And if you change it because you want it to look different and look cooler because you think it's cooler, that's fine. But keep the functionality of it. Like, I like the functionality the way that it was. Stop it.
So we're going to leave y'all with today's good vibe. Today's good vibe says, stop leaving out the part of the story where you messed up.
That just called a lot of people out.
I mean, because, when we tell stories about frictions and past relationships and stuff that happens, we sometimes leave out the part that we play in the situation. Mm-hmm. And the inability to tell on ourselves creates advice that isn't relevant to the situation.
Very true. Issa left out all of her parts with Lawrence. She ain't said nothing. But then she gonna tell Lawrence at the apartment and then have this little flashback about what they could have been. Well, y'all probably could have been if you would have told the truth about your part, but
okay.
We're not gonna go there though. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm really just trying to troll y'all for real.
So y'all, when y'all going through situations, when you're going to people for advice, give them the whole story, because they can't really give you any solid advice without the whole story. Like, it's just, don't look for validation, look for accountability.
I love
in conversation. And so tell your part, the good, the bad, the ugly you played in it, because we all play a part in the failures of our relationships. We, at some point, we give a little bit. If we only added 1%, we put something in the failure. Yeah.
All right.
Tell the story.
I'm with it. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help you, Bob. All right, so that wraps up another episode of Brunch Culture. As always, guys, we thank you so much for listening to us and rocking with us. One thing I can say is with iOS 11, a lot of new features have come out for podcasting. So we look forward to following you guys and the way that you listen to us and interacting with us. As always, hit us up on Twitter at Brunch Culture and on Instagram at Brunch_culture, and make sure that you shoot us an email at brunchculturebc@gmail.com. You can also check out our website at www.brunchculturebc.com. We love you guys. We thank you guys so much for rocking with us. I think it's incredible to see how much the show has grown, and shout out to the new listeners that we have, people saying that they're adding us to their roster of podcasts, people just still continuing to develop us. Those of you guys who've been rocking with us from the beginning, there's a lot of people that still don't know about Brunch Culture, so make sure that you spread the word. Feel free to shout us out. We'll shout you back out. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. We both love doing this. We're here because we love to do it, and make sure you guys rate us on iTunes. Your ratings and your comments help us. It helps, first off, to motivate us, but it also helps us to be able to use this for advertisers so that we can continue to improve the show, and just produce good quality for you guys. So we thank you. We love you guys. Remember, here, as always, every week at Brunch Culture, everything is up for discussion.